anybody here, Pumpeye?
Good afternoon and welcome to our special 1 year anniversary edition of the Crypto Society Market Overview and Trading Session. I myself am Pumpeye the Trader Man, and you're joined with also Bilo, and we'll also have some guests today that will be asking a few questions, asking for charts that they want analysed, and let's crack on. Thank you very much. Hello,
Hello,
Bilo.
everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition, 1 year birthday of Crypto Society. It's been a pleasure to have you all with us for this past year, and looking forward to continuing the growth and prosperity that we all have found in Crypto Society. As usual, we're going to start with a macro overview of what's happened over the past few months. We've gone from last year on a very unstable, unsure future of Bitcoin to an all-time high, approximately 65K. The final leg of the journey was a wave 5 ending wave diagonal, which is usually a very bearish sign.
Bilo, can I just interrupt? Can you spread your chart out a little bit so that I can see it without a magnifying glass?
You did say spread my chart, right?
Yeah,
Just
that
want
was
to
your
make
chart,
sure.
yeah. Oh, by the way, everybody, we've today, because we want Bilo to have a little bit more energy, as he seems to be a little bit tired through having to work all the week, we've given him a quadruple espresso to liven him up a little bit. Hopefully he's not going to go too haywire. You right, Bilo? Carry on.
So we ended up with this 5-wave ending wave diagonal, which is usually very bearish. This happened around the time where everybody was extremely bullish and didn't really want to listen to any FUD that Bitcoin would correct. So everybody, mostly, including myself, didn't pay much attention to it. This happened at the same time where there was the famous Elon tweet, the China FUD, and the IRS news. We then went into a heavy correction ABC. We stayed in this accumulation channel. I'm calling it an accumulation channel because it looks very similar to the Wyckoff accumulation channel. If you joined us on previous TAs, you'd see we discussed this a lot, and it looks very, very similar to the Wyckoff theoretical accumulation channel. Since then, we've done this 1, 2, we're in wave 3 right now. We broke out of the channel, and we'll do a zoom in to see where we are today and what we want to take a look at. For this, I am going to go to a cleaner chart that will help us to see things without all the muddle.
I thought that was quite clean for you.
Do you guys see this chart?
Yes.
Okay, good. So on this chart, one thing on the daily that I would like to point attention to is that we're looking at these EMAs, and we have EMA 20, 50, 100, and 200, which are red, orange, light blue, dark blue. They are currently in the best order they can be, which is the lower EMAs on top and the higher EMAs, the 200 at the bottom. This is the best thing you can see in a bull market, and it's a very positive sign. And the crossover happens somewhere around here. Okay, so you always want to see the lower EMA on top and the higher EMA at the bottom. Otherwise, once they cross, that's called a bearish EMA crossover, and generally it leads to either a correction or a dump, or whatever you want to call it. So currently the EMAs are all in the correct order on the daily, which is a good thing. We previously, in the analyses that we had given before, once we were around the 28K area, at least the Crypto Society had the consensus that this was, at least for the time being, and the near future, a bottom. We didn't feel like we were going to go down any further. We said this on almost every live TA session that we've had every Sunday. We've posted it in the channel, and we had put out 3 or 4 things that we would have liked to see happen in order for us to continue feeling a bit more bullish. Those three things were to get over the 200 EMA on the 4-hour, check, the 200 EMA on the daily, check, and then the $42,000 level. The reason for the $42,000 level is because this is the top of the previous grand cycle, wave 3. So if you recall the chart that I had earlier, this here would have been wave 3. And I'll just put it in here just because I want to explain things without the chart being too messy. Okay, just gotta play with the colors. There we go. So this was previous wave 3. And then remember, guys, we spoke and said that we had this ending wave diagonal for wave 5. So this is the ending wave diagonal for wave 5. And if you wanted to draw it out, just so you guys can recognize it in the future. So this would have been 4, and then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ending wave diagonal, also known as a bearish wedge. When the price constricts into a wedge pointing upwards, that's bearish. But when that happens at the end of a grand or any cycle, any Elliott wave cycle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it really is a very bearish indicator. And you know what? We really all were drunk in hope and hopium and you know, we're gonna moon, and you know, this was very clear. So then we had this 3 level, which was important to break, which finally we did break. And if you notice, it's also around the area where we broke out of it is where we have this, Pumpeye called it the most important line in crypto, where you connected the all-time high to the next lower high. And this is where we broke out, exactly at the 42K level. So this is, well, not broke out, sorry, where we got rejected first and then we broke out. So this was an important test to get out of. And now we're above this line and things are around this area. The EMAs all crossed over to where they should be. And we're now in this, what I feel comfortable identifying as a rising channel. You'll listen to people right now on YouTube, TAers, influencers, saying, yeah, you know, there's maybe one more crash coming and before we go back up. To be honest, the only bearish thing I see on this chart, is that they're making higher highs, but we're not able to break above this RSI resistance and the money flow index is dropping. This generally means that interest in pushing the price higher is slowing down at best. But you can't really deny that this is not a perfect channel, but it's a channel nonetheless. So breaking out of this channel right here, which has been in formation since July, you know, maybe it'll make me start to reconsider where we're going to go. Maybe we're going to retest the top of this line. Maybe we're going to retest all these EMAs. It's important to understand that once you're above an EMA, it acts as support. Once you're below an EMA, it acts as resistance. So we have a lot of support. So this is, you know, I have a lot of reasons to say I'm bullish and that I'm not too worried about a massive drop. And it's because of all these supports that we see here. Going up through these different resistances that we see, previous peaks and valleys become resistances. If you're below them, I mean, these were also major accomplishments and will serve as support on the way down if there is a way down deep. We also mentioned something, it's been a while now, but I'll show it to you. So we invested in Market Cipher, which is an indicator that is used by a lot of TA guys. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Pumpeye, I think BitBoy uses Market Cipher a lot, talks about it a lot, and he swears by it.
Yes, he does.
So we decided to check it out. It was an investment. It cost, I can't remember now, but 1,500 or something like that. Yeah. So Market Cipher B uses a proprietary algorithm to give buy and sell signals. It combines, and Pumpeye can explain this if you guys are interested, but it combines a lot of different indicators that are combined into one. There's money flow, there's volume profile, there's a lot of stuff in here, VWAP. But what I want to point your attention to is this little green dot right here. And we brought this up back in July, and we shared it with you here, actually. So the last time we saw this green dot happen, and I'm talking now the bullish side, and we'll get to the bearish side. We'll get to the bearish potential next, okay? Because there's always a bullish and a bearish scenario, okay? So the last time we saw this green dot was in April 2020. So we had the March crash from COVID, and then we started this, beautiful uptrend back in April. And the last time we saw this happen was right here, April 2020. So seeing it again here obviously raised, a few alarms for us, and we mentioned it. So back when Bitcoin was 36, whoa, hold on, sorry. Back when Bitcoin was, what was it here? 28 to 30, where we were saying, guys, we think it's not going further. And by the way, we see this green. We did actually see Bitcoin go from 28 to 48, which is a 20K. So imagine, this buy signal here was very strong. I'm not sure what that was, but okay.
It's all right. It's been muted now. It was Istvan's microphone came on, and apparently he's in another dimension.
All right. So this is just to say why, the many reasons why I personally feel bullish. We will now talk about what could be the bearish scenario, because there is also obviously the potential to have a bearish scenario. So the bearish scenario looks something like this, and it's quite bearish, and there's not much reason to say this is what's happening, but you know what? We'll talk about it. So this could be a 1-2, okay? So obviously, guys, the 3 is somewhere down here. I don't want to draw it that low down, okay? But this is TA wise, you can't ignore this potential scenario. If anything, it could be an ABC, a very large ABC.
It could also be played out already, Bilo. If you look from from the file.
I think this is the ABC here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what we had. This is what we've had. Like if we just kind of go back to the original chart. Do you guys, when I do this, do you see the new chart?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you see here, I personally think this is the ABC. It's already happened. Yeah. And this is where we are, we had the accumulation and are above it. But there are, there is a possibility that this here is the ABC as well. I started out by giving you guys the bullish perspective. I explained to you why I'm bullish. I didn't just say I'm bullish and that's it. But if you also want the bearish side of things, what is the bearish potential for this? Well, that is the bearish potential. The all-time high from 2017, 2018 wasn't really tested. Okay, here, right here.
No, we just went straight through it, didn't we?
Let's just draw.
There was a little bit. There was a little bit of action there, but if you do the horizontal ray, then that'll just
So you see, not much happened here, right? So you would have expected all of us, and I know a lot of people that lost serious money betting on this, but you would have expected something like this, and then testing. Yeah. Testing, and then maybe go back up. That never happened. So a lot of people around this zone, I know people personally around this zone that lost a lot of money because they bet that we would come back down and retest, and that didn't happen. And it's not usual. For a previous all-time high that hadn't been seen in like 3-4 years not to have been tested. So those that shorted here, it was really the smart thing to do, because it did not make sense, this zoom on up. It just really did not make sense. But it just happened to be that around this time, a lot of institutional investors were getting in. You had a lot of banks that were previously banks and funds that were previously, anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto, getting in silently or not, but they were getting in, and that's what resulted in this peak and resulted in a lot of people getting badly wrecked around this zone because they wanted to see this previous all-time high tested. I don't think so, guys. I mean, I'm just showing it to you, but I don't see us going back down. I just don't. I mean, from a fundamental analysis perspective, from what's happening in the market, okay, the amount of adoption has increased significantly for Bitcoin. There are a lot of institutions that have invested and bought in, and locked their Bitcoins. JP Morgan, just a big example is JP Morgan, who was an adamant enemy of Bitcoin and crypto, is now offering crypto funds, so that's huge. This is something that wasn't even imagined or on the horizon when Bitcoin was last in a bull market. So Bitcoin's here to stay. The market is strong. Adoption is strong. There's more and more people that are entering the market. If you look on on-chain analytics like Glassnode, like CryptoQuant, you'll see that the adoption and amount of new private wallets entering the crypto market is just increasing. So for all those reasons, I have a hard time believing that we will go back down that hard.
Bilo.
Pumpeye, if you have anything to say on this.
I do actually. I'm going to share my chart quickly.
Go ahead.
And we can discuss. Bear with me 2 seconds. So, right, can you all see my chart?
Yep.
Okay, so, I actually, once we've done this, I'd like you to draw a fib from the beginning of this bull run, or if you like, from the 12th of March last year, up to the highest point, because I'd like to see at what point we are right now on the fib retracement. If you look at my chart here, I've only done it as a line chart because it essentially shows what we need it to. I've drawn a fib retracement that goes from where we started dropping after having produced a lower high down to the base where we hit 20. Well, it was actually 28,000 something, although I've got it 29 because I haven't done it accurately from the close. I've done it from the bottom of the line chart. We've come up and we've now tested. If you look at it as a potential bearish chart rather than a bullish chart, not to panic anyone, but then we've come up and we've struggled a little bit with the 618 of this drop, and then we've made it past, and we've come up to the 705, which if I was looking to short this market, that when we hit that 705, 0.705, that actually would have been my ideal point of placing a short. That's my ideal entry. Like if it's a bullish chart, then you're pulling it from the bottom up to the top, and at the point where it would get to the 0.705 retracement, that would also be my ideal entry for a bullish move or a buying move. So there is a little bit of bearishness to potentially look at, Bilo. If you look at the fact that we didn't break above the 705, then for me, at the moment, until we do, then I'm still cautious. I don't necessarily see it as being a completely bullish chart. And we also generally tend to have September is a bit of a bearish month. We find that a lot of the time September has bearish price action, both on altcoins and on Bitcoin. So there's that to look forward to potentially. I've also been listening to a few other YouTubers, and BitBoy, since I can't remember, at some point last year, it must have been October, November last year, was saying that around about the 28th of September this year, based on I think it was that the bullish part of the bull run ends 2% sooner than it did in the previous bull run. He calculated it to be that we would end the bull run around the 28th of September, or just about in 2021. So there's that to take into account. And at the same time, we also all feel that actually Bitcoin's still going to 100k, maybe beyond. Some people are still saying that it could go to beyond, up to maybe 280k this bull run. But that means that one of those two scenarios has to be untrue, because we can't have a bearish September and the bull run end on the 28th of September, or on or around the 28th of September, and still meet even 100k by then, really, given that it's already the 29th of August now. I don't know what your perspective is on that, Bilo. I know obviously we can't predict to the day or to the minute or anything when.
Look, I don't believe in. I don't particularly believe, or not believe, but put a lot of weight on months being bearish or bullish, because there are quite a few examples, and not to get into it now because there's other content that I'd like to go through, but there's a lot of examples of months that are supposed to be bearish that did not end up being bearish, and months that were supposed to be bullish. And you know what? In trading, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, in order for some people to make money, others have to lose it. This is the whole concept of liquidity.
Very true.
So if everybody knew that the following was going to happen on a particular month, well, the market essentially would not move. So I don't know. It could happen, I suppose. It could be that, you know what, it happens that September is a bearish month. I mean, I suppose that's possible. But if you go back to last year, I don't recall if it was exactly in September or not, but there was that. I remember having this discussion somewhere last year that, yeah, September is going to be bearish and this, but the exact opposite happened. We just kept on going up and up and up. I remember breaking through 13K like it wasn't even there. There was so much resistance around 13K. If you go back on your chart, Pumpy, to last year, I remember this like yesterday. There was this crazy looking head and shoulders around the 12, 13K that just, you know, the market went through it like it just wasn't even there. Let's just, yeah, here, right there, that one right here.
What, back here?
Yeah, this here, you see it?
Yeah.
So zoom into that.
I've got a lot going on my computer right now.
Yeah, that's no. But around here, when we went back up, look where we went back up in November. It's like we just went through that area like there was nothing there. And this was a huge resistance. I mean, massive resistance, right? So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like, am I gonna be bearish because September last year was bearish? I don't know. I'm not sure I would use that strategy, especially in a field where confusion and you know, manipulation is very prevalent. But I suppose it's possible, and that's why we're discussing both bullish and bearish scenarios. At the moment, I think your Fibonacci that you pulled at that what we got rejected at 705, it's not unexpected. Said this many times. Anytime you're in a wave, and I'm not talking about a silly little wave, like a serious wave, like the one we're looking at right now. Until if you're below the 618, 705 area, you know what? 6-7 times out of 10, you'll make money if you short at that point. But that doesn't mean that it's a failure and it's going to get rejected forever. It's an important point. Why is it an important point? Because a lot of people will short that level if the price action is below it, and a lot of people will long that level if the price action is above it. So it's going to happen a few times. It's unusual to break through it the first time, but it doesn't mean that since we didn't break through it the first time that it's doomed to just go back down and basically, go back to, let's say, its starting point, which in this case is about 30K. It's possible, but I don't think it's very likely. I think there will be another at least 1 to 2 attempts at that level, just from what I've seen in the past in TA. The other thing is, what are the other indicators saying? What is everything else saying? Do we have any other bearish or bullish indicators telling us what's about to happen? I started out by saying that we have all the moving averages in the correct order. That in and of itself is a bullish sign. It just shows us that the market is heading the trend is actually up right now because all the moving averages are in the correct direction, and it takes time for them to readjust. When we were on the way down and in that channel, they were a bit all over the place. The 200 EMA was on top of everything else, and that's why the order of events that we described prior to changing our outlook to bullish was to get through the 200 EMA on the 4-hour and then on the daily. So now things have turned around. We are in an uptrend. There's no denying that we're in an uptrend. Where the uptrend ends, where it gets disrupted in a serious manner, is where we want to try to find out and be there and talk about it and warn everybody and hopefully make the right moves. But I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen that point yet. Before today's live session, I was trying to look very hard for a reason to be bearish rather than bullish. And cautious is correct. I think we have to be cautious. There's definitely more to be bullish about than to be bearish about. But the RSI, the way that it's trending and the way that the money flow is trending is making me more cautious. That means that like we explained earlier, it means that the buying power is diminishing. So that is cause for us to be more careful, right?
It's worth noting, Bilo, that there's a sell signal on the 12-hour on market cipher B as well.
Yeah, and that's okay. And guys, nothing goes straight up or straight down. I mean, this could be here nice to scalp. You know what? There's a sell signal on market cipher on 12 hours. Where the last time it happened, we did go down. Look at it. The time before it too. So this could be a good place to scalp and do but then it's like there's a buy on the daily.
Yeah, I was just about to say there's a buy signal on the daily.
But I wouldn't be surprised if we corrected a bit more here. I really wouldn't, because there is bearish divergence. It's obvious. We need to break above. Pumpy, if you don't mind, just connect the tops of the RSI on top there. Just connect the tops.
On here?
No, on the RSI on top.
Oh, on here? On the market cipher B?
Oh, well, the one on top of it.
I could just bring up the normal RSI if you like.
Here, this one here. Here. I'll do it. Oops.
It also depends as well, while he's doing that, on the number of leveraged trades, doesn't it? Because you can see that if it's overshorting or overlonging, they'll try and liquidate those as well and push it the other way from what you're expecting.
Sorry, say that again, Dave.
Yeah, it depends on the number of leveraged trades out there as well, on how they're going to liquidate them, because we saw that cascading effect when we came down for liquidating the trades. So they do that on purpose to actually capitulate everything, to actually put more liquidity back into the market.
Yeah, you're talking about like a flash crash kind of thing, right?
Yeah, to follow it. So because everybody believes it's going to go down, more and more of the lev comes in, and then they push it up and liquidate everybody.
Definitely, yeah. So this is it. Thanks, Pumpeye. So this is what I'm referring to. So this is the RSI resistance that I'd like to see broken. Connect the tops, if you don't mind. The tops of the chart, Pumpeye, okay. Not the bottom. Yeah.
In that case, we can go from where I was.
Yeah, just the tops. Yeah, thanks. So this is like very. This is obvious bearish divergence. Okay, so we have higher highs, but then RSI is making lower highs. That's what bearish divergence is, and what that indicates is that the bulls are losing steam. Okay.
So you all aren't buying enough. Get out there and start buying some Bitcoin.
Yeah. So there is reason to believe that there's a correction that should happen. There's no reason to deny it. But then if you draw and connect the bottoms, Pumpeye, if you don't mind, now connect the bottoms. Start in here. Let me do this here. Oops. That was
oh yeah,
that wasn't
I
good.
forgot you could annotate as well.
That was good.
That was really good.
Can I draw a straight line?
I have no idea. How steady are your hands?
Not with 3 espressos.
To be fair, I've actually done the same, Dave. I have a treble espresso here.
So, and then, so you see, we're in a little bit of it's a very ugly looking bearish wedge. Okay. And I say it's ugly because it's not pointing anywhere soon to a vertex. Like the vertex is somewhere up above 60. So if you adjust your top line, Pumpeye, if you don't mind, just adjust it a little bit. It looks like, almost looks like a channel. Okay. And this is what I was referring to earlier. And that we've been in this since sometime in July. I think by changing the time frame, you bloody messed up my mind.
I was actually just looking at the channel that I drew ages ago, which was what told me that we were bearish, basically. Which was, it actually started a lot further back, but yeah. It was drawn a lot better than that when I did it originally, but yeah, I'd put a chart out and I basically said that if we drop out of that channel, then I'll be bearish. But until such a time, I was still bullish, and then that was the point where I said, where we dropped out here, that I was starting to feel a bit bearish at that point, and I couldn't see us going back up again for a while, which we obviously didn't. Where did you want me to go to? July?
No, I just wanted to point out we are in this potential channel here.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just something to keep an eye on, guys. It's channels are not they don't give you reason to do anything but just watch and see what happens. And that the bottom of the channel is a point where you potentially want to go long. The top is a point where you potentially want to go short. And trading, guys, it's about probabilities. There is no 100%. It's chance. It's just you're putting the more things that you have pointing to a certain direction, the more chances you have of winning your trade. It's probability. It's chance. It's not pure science in the sense that this is definitely what's going to happen. That goes, for everything. All the TA that we do, all the indicators that we look at, whether it's the volume, RSI, market cipher, Elliott waves, Fibonacci levels, we're just trying to get as much data and info on what could happen as possible in order to make an educated decision on what we're about to do. And the more things that we have that point to one direction, that's called confluence, the more reason we have to enter a particular trade in a particular direction, and the more chances we have of achieving success. But there are no guarantees. You could have the best TA in the world, everything showing the direction that the market should go in, and then something goes wrong. That something could be an exchange looking to manipulate, a major player looking to manipulate, a major player for whatever reason wanting to get out, selling all his Bitcoin. I mean, there's no way to control this and no way to foresee this. So always keep that in mind, guys, and always just don't ever go in with more than you can afford to lose. Leverage trading, the reason why it's so dangerous, aside from the fact that you're leveraging, just by definition, it's a dangerous thing to do, is that if you lose everything. Whereas when you buy spot, you can buy a coin at, let's call it Bitcoin. You can buy Bitcoin at 50 and today it's at 48, and you can say, damn, I'm losing, but it's still worth 48. Versus if you were leverage trading, it's worth nothing. Your money's gone. So it's very important. We keep on saying it. It's very important to exercise caution and to constantly look at the market, put in your stop losses, have a plan, decide where you want to exit, decide where you want to take profit. All this has to be done in advance. Otherwise, it'll be purely emotional. And the hardest part, and I'm preaching, I have the same difficulties. The hardest part, guys, it's taking profit. I find taking profit to be one of the hardest things to do because you see a coin that you've invested in, a project, a stock, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Just going up and pumping and pumping. And it's like, damn it, I was supposed to take profit at that price, but it keeps on going. And what if it goes up some more? Well, that's the biggest mistake most people make. And myself included, okay? It's very hard to take profit. But if you have a plan and you have that plan, hopefully that it's done in advance, stick to your plan and be consistent because you'll be able to figure out what works and what doesn't. If you change your plan every time you trade, you'll never know what works and what doesn't. And going back to the concept of probabilities, if you follow a particular plan and you're constant about that plan and you're persistent in following that plan, and you find that you have a success rate of, let's say, 7 times out of 10, and you change one thing one day and you find your success rate went up, well now you know what that thing is that you changed that made all the difference. But if you're constantly doing it differently and each time you do something different, you will have no way of tracking and figuring out what works and what doesn't. Sorry for the rant, but I can't emphasize this enough. And again, I have the same issues, so I'm not preaching. Pretty drawing, Pumpeye. What are you doing?
I'm just playing around drawing a cup and handle on this UTK chart. Potential cup and handle. As we see it's come around here. And then drop back down again. If we do come up, then that could be a nice little pump on UTK. We're currently at 48 cents and the target would be $1.25.
So can we have a signal actually? Can we post a signal on this, Pumpeye? Because you're right, that looks nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it once we've.
What do you think? Like for those that are listening right now, what would you say would be the buy range and what would be the take profit range?
Anyone?
I'm asking you.
Oh, me.
Yeah. What would
I thought you were asking other people. Sorry.
No. I'm asking you what you would say would be
the buying range.
Be the buy range and the profit.
Well, the ideal buying range, if you want to take it as less risky, then your ideal buying range would be. Hold on, where's the?
It's normally the completion of the handle, isn't it? Just above it.
Yeah. Where's Bilo? Where's my boxes?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a rectangle. Just a simple rectangle.
Oh, it's in the, just go down a couple. 1, 2. Yeah, there. Yeah.
Rectangle, cool. Okay. My personal buying range would be here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that would be my buying range in this area here. And then where is... Actually, that'll probably be in there. So, long position. Be...
So what would you like to set your stop loss at? Is it a percentage or is it, how do you...
I would gauge it on a either I'd work out a 3-to-1 risk ratio.
Okay.
So that's what, 58%, 27. So it's a maybe 4-to-1, like that. So
okay.
if your entry point was this line here at 79 cents, then your stop loss could be, in fact, to be honest, your stop loss could be the neckline here, because if you go or just below the neckline, because if you go below the neckline, then it's pretty much invalidated anyway. And then take profit. I actually normally tend to set my take profit just below what the technical target is, because I find that sometimes you miss it by just that tiny little bit, and then you haven't taken profit at the right point, and you end up with a trade that's not quite as good as it could be. Sometimes, obviously, you go above, and I found that quite often the technical target is literally almost pretty much bang on where you want to be taking profit. But if you set your take profit just slightly under, so say that was 58%. What's 3% really? If you set it 3% under the technical target, then you've still made yourself a nice hefty profit there.
That's good advice. And do you take profit all the way at the target, or do you take profit on the way up too?
Personally, so far, I've just been taking profit at the target. I don't take profit on the way up.
Okay. DJ, what are your thoughts?
I would, at the moment, the way the market is, I'd probably take chunks of 10 to 20% at a time, not wait for the final target.
And what are your thoughts on what are your thoughts on where to put your stop loss? Is it similar to Pumpeye's, or do you view it a bit different?
I normally add, well, Pump knows this, I normally add a bit more risk in, so I'd probably drop it about maybe 5% below. But that's just personal.
For me, the problem with stop losses, as much as I always say to use them, and you do have to use them, is in a scenario like this, it's not uncommon at all to see a pump above the neckline, coming back down, not just testing the neckline, but going below it and then going back up. And that's called stop loss hunting. And that happens very, very often, especially in scenarios that look pretty clean like this. So keep that in mind, guys, entering the trade, that you could get stop hunted. Stop hunted, again, just means that the market will push the price down in order to grab the stop loss liquidity that's just below the neckline before it continues going back up. So it screws you out of your trade and then continues back up.
Okay, so say this chart then, Bilo. I've just adjusted the stop loss slightly. Where would you be putting your stop loss? 15%, like I've just put?
You've got two scenarios, haven't you? One, if you want to protect, you don't want to go too deep with the stop loss. I think 15 is probably a bit too aggressive even for me, Mr. Degen. And if you're running without a stop loss, it doesn't really matter. So, because where you see those wicks, some of those wicks are bigger than 15%.
So are we talking about a spot or a leverage trade here?
I only ever trade spot, personally.
Okay, so in a spot trade, the psychology behind the trade is very different than the psychology behind the leverage trade, for the reasons I mentioned earlier. Worst thing that can happen in a spot trade is the value of what you own is now, temporarily at least, slightly lower. The difference is in a leverage trade that you can get liquidated and the money you put in is gone forever. So the stop loss would change dramatically for me if it was a leverage trade versus a spot trade. If it was a spot trade and I believed, let's say, in UTK, and I liked UTK and I thought UTK had a future, I wouldn't even be talking about a stop loss. I just buy it because I think it has a future and the chart looks good, and I wouldn't worry about it. If I was looking at a leverage trade and I felt that the market conditions were ripe for a bullish continuation, because like we've said many, many times, all this is nice, but if Bitcoin does something, well, all the TA in the world on these other charts is not going to mean much, is it? So I would I would put my stop loss in consequence to what's happening with Bitcoin at the time of entering the trade. So it would be too early right now to say where my stop loss would be. But I would definitely not put it at the line. I would definitely not put it at the neckline. It would be below the neckline. And how much below is it's purely a risk to reward ratio that you should be happy with. If it's 3-to-1, well, that's what you work with. Then you put it to be 3-to-1. You also don't want to put it at a place where it's obvious, where, for example, was a previous bottom in a very small time frame. And to explain this, Pumpeye would have to stop screwing around with his chart settings. But
sorry.
Let's zoom into that the handle, Pumpeye. Zoom into the handle for a second. Yeah. So you see those three touch points on those three candles: green, red, green.
Yep.
Let's say I was going long somewhere here at the bottom of this handle. I would not put my stop loss at those, because very high chances that those, that zone will be retested. So your stop loss, guys, has to always be, if you don't want to get stopped out, aside from looking at risk reward, aside from looking from how much you want to lose and all this, it should not be at a place that served as previous support, because it is very likely to get retested again.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it's too soon to call where the stop loss would be. But as a concept, stop losses should not be at supports or previous resistances turned supports. They should not be at a neckline, in my opinion, ever, because the necklines are surely most of the time retested. And the risk reward ratio is up to you. So at that point, you could say you're happy with a 3-to-1, or no, I absolutely want a 4-to-1, or whatever. There is no right and wrong here. You can also play with Fibonacci levels and see what Fibonacci levels are possibly going to get retested if we go back up. So there's no one answer for this.
So just for reference, we are just below the 0.5 fib level from that pump.
I would actually, I'm talking, let's say we go back up, let's say we go above the neckline. Okay, I would draw a Fibonacci from the handle all the way up to your target. That's one Fibonacci. And I'll explain to you what I'm doing. Okay.
Hold on. So someone asked in the group the other day what the Fibonacci's, what the levels mean, and they're just percentages of a whole, and they are based on the Fibonacci golden spiral and golden ratio. So if the person who's asking is listening now, then that's what they correspond to.
Yeah. So that's one thing I would put up. The other thing I would put up is I would do another one from the bottom where you just had it, to where you would go long. No, sorry, the bottom of the handle, Pumpeye. Bottom of the handle. Yeah, to where you would actually open up your long.
Yeah, I just have. It's at the top of the box. So I mean,
okay.
you could
Maybe
do it
just
line. You could do it once we come up here. I mean.
Okay. So let's say that.
But you were asking about entries. Sorry, Bilo. The other point is that entry-wise, you were saying about where to enter. You could also consider that when we've come up past this neckline, you normally retest before you go up anyway. So you could wait for the retest and then open up along, so that you already know that you've retested the neckline, you've not gone down below, and you're on your way up.
Cool. Does anybody on with us right now have any questions about what we're talking about? Anybody have any comments? Anybody would like further explanations? We're trying to do this in a way, guys, where it's interactive, and you guys can give us your input. Maybe we could learn from you as well. So please don't be shy. As long as you do it one at a time and you don't talk over each other. we're happy to hear what you have to say. Anyone?
Yeah, Benjamin here. Not specifically on this topic, but I wanted to add on the Bitcoin broader picture. I found some nice on-chain analysis which I wanted to share. So it's not exactly that topic. So I just wanted to know if you have some time.
Yeah, absolutely. We've started over the past month or two talking a little bit about on-chain analysis. Yeah, please share what you would like. It would be nice.
Yeah. Can you just allow me to share my screen?
Are you on a PC? If so, yes, feel free to share your screen.
Yeah, I think you have to stop sharing yours, it's saying.
Yeah, okay. Go for it.
All right. So hopefully you can see that.
Yes.
So I was thinking about the macro trend of Bitcoin. So we are jumping a little bit the topics here, but I just wanted to share that because I think it's a very interesting find. So basically, what you're seeing there is accumulation of smaller accounts and of whale accounts. Like a whale account is like 1K Bitcoin to 10K Bitcoin. And they compare it with the smaller like retail accounts. And basically what you're seeing is, so the price of Bitcoin is like in the colors. And what you're seeing is that below, here are the whales and here are the retailers. So the whales, they stopped accumulating like until 45K. And then they started selling basically, whereas you can see here in the above chart, retail accumulated much longer, like to the very much top, and even a little bit longer. So so I just wanted to give this chart to you because I think it's so the ways they started accumulating at 45. So now we can like argue, is like a chicken and egg problem. So if they are distributing, then the price has to follow down, or are they like front running the price? So what are your thoughts on that? I think it's a pretty decent indicator, to be honest.
I'm trying to understand how this works. I've never seen this before. So I see that the smaller wallets, and this is in line with the on-chain data that I've seen, smaller wallets have been accumulating Bitcoin throughout this bull run. So this is accumulation of Bitcoin or increase in number of wallets?
No, accumulation.
Accumulation trends. Some divergence.
So can you see my mouse?
Yeah, I see it.
So basically here are the smaller accounts, and they accumulated like until like into May. And here's the time frame. Maybe this helps. So here's May. This is the May line. So the retail accumulated like till the beginning of May, and whereas the big accounts, they stopped accumulating somewhere on February.
Probably February, yeah.
So and what we're seeing now and is the exact same. Whereas retail is still accumulating.
Yeah.
The big accounts, they stopped accumulating like it would be in the beginning of August. Do you see that here?
Yeah.
So not saying this is the same scenario, but
the only thing that I'd say about that is slightly contradictory to what I can see when I'm looking at the daily Bitcoin chart is that in February we were at the highest point. Hold on. Oh, actually, it does continue quite far in. At the end of February, we were at 43K. So they'd accumulated up to 43K, and then there's still quite a lot of price action that follows the Wyckoff accumulation. Sorry, Wyckoff distribution chart. And if the whales weren't accumulating at that point, then are they literally, or were they literally, letting retail buy to the pattern and then selling off and distributing through that pattern to make it work like it did?
Yeah, that would be my idea, or my thoughts on that too. Yeah.
Very cleverly done.
I mean, here you can see the source is it's coin metrics, and I found it, to be honest, I found it on a Twitter account from Ecoinometrics. I don't know if he's like totally lifted, but I love the concept of it and the design of the charts. And I mean, there's definitely, so I'm not a big fan of coincidences. So, I mean, this has to be something.
I would have to. I mean, I'd have to like study this a bit more, to be honest with you. I understand the concept of it, but when I look at other on-chain data from Glassnode and CryptoQuant, it paints somewhat of a different picture. I got to see how this all works. I won't be able to comment on this anymore.
Yeah. So I just pasted the link in the chat, so everybody can use the
Great. Thank you.
chart. And so yeah. I just thought it was worth sharing and adding maybe a little bit to the cautious part of the bear versus bull discussion we had earlier.
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to definitely look into this some more.
So actually, yes, we can see that at the moment the whales are selling off then and distributing, whilst retail are currently accumulating.
Yes. And there's the thesis in this chart, are whales ticking back up? So
that's a good point.
If so, then that will be a good sign, obviously. But
there was information recently, though, with BTC and ETH, where whales were actually breaking up
I was about to say
their
that.
coins to stop people from tracking their moves.
Yeah,
I
that's
was about
very
to say-
annoying.
And
Sneaky
not just
buggers.
that, but there's also money flow. ETH dominance is increasing, BTC dominance is decreasing. This, maybe there's whales that are also transitioning into ETH, into Solana. I wanted to talk a little bit about Solana today, but yeah, I mean, look at how Solana's done these. Crazy price jumps. There's a lot of liquidity that's required in order to get to where Solana got that fast. A lot of money, a lot of buying. So it's on-chain analysis is something that we've been trying to do more of. For me personally, it's a new field of study for me. I'm spending as much time as I can trying to educate myself on it. I think it's very interesting and has a very large part to play in predicting what's coming next. So thank you. It's really appreciated.
Sure.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to share or any questions?
Bilo, do you want to share your charts again and we can have a look at Solana?
Yeah, sure. So Solana. Sorry, it's a bit messy, guys, but you guys see my chart?
I don't believe that for a
Yep.
second that your chart's messy, Bilo.
So Solana, I mean, wow.
I can't believe you don't bite to my comments at all.
Sorry, what'd you say? What'd you say?
I said I can't. I said I don't believe that for a second that your charts are messy. I didn't bite at all. Terrible.
That's it.
He switched on husband mode.
Yeah. Excellent.
that happens. That's smart. That only a good husband knows that. Okay. So Solana, guys, we've been talking about for some time. We've made some pretty good predictions, if I have to say so myself, as SCS. We've look, the last target that we've posted SCS for Solana is somewhere around here for wave 5. Wave 3 at 80. We've done the correction. Now we're going to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up to wave 5. Why do I think wave 5 is here? Well, it's just because I did I had an extension done and just figure that given the magnitude of wave 3, I don't think wave 5 is going to be more than between 0.618 and 1 for now, just for now. And this is a short-term target. We're not talking about a year from now. This is coming soon. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to Solana, guys, is if you see the ecosystem, if you see what they've done, it is the fastest blockchain out there. I mean, nobody comes close. It is currently 1/12, correct me if I'm wrong, 1/12, 1 divided by 12, the market cap of Ethereum. What does that mean? It just means that if more adoption continued to take place, more projects continue to build on Solana, Solana has a 12x to go from here before it reaches the market cap of Ethereum. So targets that we're showing here are really not breaking news. I mean, it's just short-term targets, guys. Long-term targets, Solana is going to be in the thousands. Yes, I have no doubt about this. For those who think they missed the boat and it's too late to buy Solana, it really isn't. Think back last year, just last year, somewhere around March, April of 2021.
Can I tell you something,
Ethereum,
Bilo? Sorry, I've just brought up on CoinGecko
sure.
the Solana stats, and Solana on the 11th of May last year was 50 cents. That was its all-time low. Do you not wish that you'd just put everything you had into just Solana and not?
What tells you I did?
Because you followed my labs trade.
I'm speaking to you from Mount Olympus right now.
It is on its way back up though, so we're all right. Shouldn't be too long.
No.
But yeah, so it's
Yeah.
so it's actually done 18,282% at the current price since last May the 11th. That's incredible.
Well, and the good news, guys, and what I was saying is it's not too late, because Ethereum, as big as a project as it is and as known as it is, last year around May, June, it was about $200, guys. And today we have an all-time high of Ethereum of $4,600. It's not too late. It's a project that it's a real ETH killer, guys. We hear about ETH killers, we hear about them, but Solana is an ETH killer. I'm not saying it's going to take away ETH. ETH is always going to be there. It's going to be one of my favorite coins, one of my favorite projects. It's not going anywhere. It's going to continue to grow. But Solana poses as a true threat to Ethereum in every respect. So just because it made this, humongous pump, I mean, Christ, like just a month ago, it was at $26, okay? And we've been calling Ethereum in the group since early January, even in December. Buy, but not Ethereum, Solana, guys. It's not too late to buy Solana. Okay, you will be happy. We always have to say not financial advice, blah blah blah. Financial advice: buy Solana. It's one of those projects that will not disappoint you. It's not going anywhere. It's going to continue to grow. It's Solana summer as we speak. Everything Solana is hyped. If you just want to talk about hype and not get into the fundamentals, which you should, it's probably the most hyped blockchain out there in existence today. So yeah, buy the dips. I'm not selling Solana. I will not be taking profits, even though earlier I was saying it's good to have a plan, it's good to take profits. I'm not taking profits on Solana. It's a long-term hold for me. You can decide to have a trading bag of Solana that you trade. I know someone that does that quite successfully. He's on the call. You can do that, but Solana is a long-term hold, and I'm sure you'll be very happy if you made that purchase even today at the price it's at. You can decide to wait and hope that it drops, and it could. If Bitcoin makes a major dump, I'm sure Solana will follow suit, but I don't think it'll dump as hard, because I don't know if you've noticed recently, while Bitcoin has been dropping over the past few days, it's gone down to 3K. During that same exact time, Solana was pumping 15, 16, and 17% per day. So there is this recognition that Solana is maybe going to decouple faster than anything else because of the amount of interest that it has attracted and the hype that surrounds it.
Because it does things faster than anyone else.
A lot faster. I mean, it doesn't even compare. And look at just look at it from a trading perspective. Okay, if today you wanna buy or sell a coin that is ERC20, depending on the day, it can cost you upwards of $50 or $60 just to trade a coin. Okay, trade anything you want on the Solana exchange. It'll cost you pennies, and it's extremely fast. Just that, a lot of projects are migrating over, because a lot of times the projects are hindered because people are not trading because gas fees are high. So if gas fees are high, and that's what makes someone decide. It makes me decide sometimes, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going to trade. Gas fees are too high. If there's enough people like me, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that won't trade because gas fees are high, well, that hinders the project. So why would a project who has the capability of building on a blockchain that is, I don't have the figures, guys, but I think like 400 times faster than Ethereum, 1,000 times cheaper? I mean, why wouldn't they go? Why wouldn't they go there? And that's what's happening. They are going there. So a lot of projects are now migrating or building or bridging onto Solana, and that's why we see these pumps. It's because the future is very, very bright.
I do disagree with you though. It's not an ETH killer. It's an ETH complementer. I don't think it's an ETH killer.
I think it's going to serve a different purpose, to be honest. I don't think that games can ever really be built on Ethereum, and I don't think it would be wise for any games to be built on Ethereum, but it's viable for them to be built on Solana and other fast blockchains, as an example.
First of all, how dare you disagree with me? First of all,
that's what we're here for.
I'm just kidding. Look, maybe killer is a strong word, and I did qualify it by saying it's not going to make Ethereum go away, but it is serious competition to Ethereum at the very least.
Absolutely. And just to put it in context for anybody that's new, last year, Ethereum was able to launch a lot of small projects and everything, which did make some bank. There was some shit coins out there, everything else. Ethereum is too clogged up now for those projects to launch. And actually, they're good projects. They just have very minimal backers. Chains like Solana can actually launch those projects, and they will be successful. So it's a good way to actually look out for those. The other one as well to look out, if you want to have a look at the chart on this one, Bilo and Pump, is Arweave, which complements Solana because it stores the data from Solana.
Nice.
And you'll find that that's pumping.
Yeah, that's Crypto Banter talk about that a lot, don't they?
They do. And Coin Bureau just did a piece on it yesterday or the day before as well.
I've just shared it in the chat, by the way, a link to an article on transaction fees and a comparison between Ethereum and Solana. I don't know what the data was of this, but at the time they were saying that Solana fees were, $0.00025 per transaction, which is obviously nothing, literally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really cheap.
I think it does say that at the time the Ethereum transaction fees were $15, so it could have been a little while ago. It's 60,000 cheaper times cheaper to use than Ethereum.
I'll buy two.
I'll have what he's having.
The transaction time, block time for Solana is 0.4 seconds, and Ethereum it's 13 seconds. The block size, number of transactions per block on Solana is 20,000 transactions, whereas on Ethereum it's 70. And I've already just given you the fees. And it's going to be doubling its scalability every 2 years, they've claimed, on Solana.
Yeah, that's due down to hardware.
Last thing I wanted to talk about, and it's not about TA. For those that heard about parachain auctions but never participated, so the Kusama parachain auctions are still ongoing. First cycle was complete. Second cycle, I believe, is September 1st or 2nd. Correct me if I'm wrong. But amongst the projects was, everybody's heard of Moonbeam, I think. And Moonbeam for the Kusama parachain auctions had the Moon River token crowd loan. And you basically just stake your Kusama with the project that you want to support for the parachain auctions. Your Kusamas are locked for 48 weeks. And then you get as a reward, you get these Moon River tokens. I was looking at the price of Moon River the other day, which launched on KuCoin. It's about $100 per token. And the distribution of Kusama to Moon River, guys, I have to kind of go back and do the math, but I believe per token, I think for every Kusama you locked, I think you got like something like 25 Moon River tokens. This is not exact, guys. It's just approximately. So imagine you locked, let's say, 10 Kusamas, okay? Let's say you had 10 Kusamas, you locked them in with the project. You would have gotten back 25 times 10, 250. Is that what I just said? Did I say 25? I gotta do the math. Sorry, guys. I believe it was. Yeah. Sorry, I got my math all screwed up. But what I want to say is, if you do look into it, the ratio, I believe, was for every Kusama token you put in, you got back 10 times in Moon River. So for one Kusama token gave you 10 Moon Rivers. So let's say you put in 10 Kusama, that's 100, and you got 30% right off the bat as soon as the crowd loan for Moon River won. So you basically would be sitting on $6,000 if today you had 10 Kusamas invested in this. And this is only 30% of the Moon River network. I'm sorry if the math is all screwed up. I thought I had the math right. I don't think I do. But all this is to say that there's another parachain auction coming for Kusama, and it's really worth your time to look into it. And then eventually there's the parachain auctions for DOT. And DOT, although it's not doing very well right now relative to what we see Solana doing and other maybe projects that are pumping a lot harder, it's still in a very affordable time to buy. I would advise you to consider also accumulating DOT and to strongly research the Polkadot parachain auctions coming up. I'll try to get the math right. If somebody wants it, I can share it with you. But it was very very rewarding for those that did it with Moon River. There was others. There was Akala. There was a lot of projects that participated. So Kusama, I strongly suggest you guys read it, read into it, and educate yourself on this, because it's a very easy way, if you hold Kusama or in the future the dot parachain auctions, to accumulate these fantastic projects that are doing very well and will do very well. So Kusama.network auctions. Just a side note. I don't have really anything else to add for today. I don't know if anybody has any other questions or comments or any charts they'd like us to take a look at.
Was that R ETH? Was that the R wave?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, nice.
And just another one with the parachain auctions that you're on about, just to explain to everybody that hasn't been in there, if you can say to them, if you give your KSM or your DOT over for the parachain, you get the project's tokens back. Do you get to keep the project's tokens plus get back your original KSM or DOT?
Yeah, you get all back. You get all your KSM or DOT back, but it's locked for 48 weeks. So you get it back after 48 weeks. And depending on the project, every project has a different formula. But for example, I was looking earlier, I wanted to talk to you guys about Moon River, because Moon River has done extremely well. So in order to achieve, 30% is allocated to reward the crowd loan contributors. And then the 70% that's remaining is vested over 48 weeks. So you're going to get them over 48 weeks. And at the end of the 48-week period, where you're basically your KSM is locked with the project. Once that 48 weeks are over, you get your Kusama back, and you obviously have all these new tokens. Like in the case of Moon River, like I said, the token is worth about $100 today. You know what, Pumpeye, maybe share a chart. Let me do the math properly. Just share a chart so that I don't waste everybody's time.
No, you're all right. Don't worry.
Share a chart. Just share something, and let me just do the math, because it's really unbelievable.
You're saying share a chart. I didn't have anything prepared, so that's. Hold on. That's.
Sorry, guys. This will be worth the wait, because it's unbelievable what Moon River did.
Going to be quiet for a minute because I haven't looked at anything. Sorry, guys. Are there any requests? Any charts that anybody would like us to have a look at?
So Benjamin again, and not exactly a chart, but I wanted to add to the Solana topic. So maybe it's also worth to look in the second line, so to say, of coins which are supporting the Solana system, and especially into the DeFi space. So I'm talking about Serum and Radium. So basically these are the liquidity providers for Solana. So it may be also worth a look to consider those if you are extremely bullish on Solana.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. And yes, Radium is an excellent project, and Serum as well. And it's on the list of projects that within CS we back and support and are bullish on.
You know
Thank
what,
you.
Bilo? Radium is my favourite DEX. I prefer the Radium layout and user interface to any of the others that I've seen so far. I don't know about you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Me
too. I think it's pretty easy and straightforward.
Yeah, it's easy on the eye. It's straightforward. You can find stuff very easily. You don't have to load various different lists like you do with Uniswap and 1inch. And I mean, can't remember whether it was 1 inch or sushi swap. That was a bit of a mouthful. That I last used. But when I was using them, I think it was sushi. I was looking for ALCX on sushi, and I was actually, I'm not an unintelligent person, but I was sat there looking at it, and I'm thinking, right, how do I find that? And it wasn't straightforward or obvious. And if we're going to have mass adoption of the general public, then we need things to be straightforward and easy for people to use. And Sushi Swap definitely isn't it. I don't know what any of your perspectives on that are, but Radium seems to be a lot easier to use.
Yeah, it is a nice platform. I got the numbers, guys, and it really is amazing. So for every KSM you locked away with Moon River, you get 15 Moon Rivers back. Okay, so assuming that you would have put away your KSM at the time, now it's too late for Moon River. Let's say you put away 10 KSM, your reward would be 150 Moon Rivers. And you would have gotten 30% of that today, with the rest vesting over the next 48 weeks. So assuming just to keep the numbers simple, 10 KSM, 150 Moon Rivers, 150 times 100 is $15,000, guys. 30% of that is 4,500. So you, just for locking 10 KSMs, would be sitting on $4,500 today, with another 10,000 to come over the next 48 weeks. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
And that's having locked up a token that you can almost bet your bottom dollar on you're not going to be at risk with as well. What?
That's right.
Do you know what the lockup was? What time frame it was? How long you have to lock them up for? Right, so you have to lock them up for 48 weeks. Yeah, I mean, in 48 weeks, okay, it might have gone down a bit. We might be in a bear market, but you can think of it in the way that by the time we get around to the next bull market, Kusama is going to absolutely fly. So realistically, you've just put your money into a savings pot that you can't touch, which is probably a good job.
Yeah, I have zero concern about Kusama in the long run. It's one of those projects that it's really on my favorites list for many reasons, but it's people think of Kusama as a test net. It is a test net, but it's a lot more. It's its own chain. A lot of projects build and will stay on Kusama. It's not necessarily just a test. And it's faster than DOT, and it's cheaper than DOT, and their motto, or whatever you want to call it, is expect chaos, for the reason that they acknowledge that it's they'll learn from their mistakes on Kusama, versus DOT will be more of an expensive but sure thing in terms of how it's going to perform. Kusama is really one of my favorite projects. So I'm only saying this, guys, because it's not over. There are more parachain auctions for Kusama coming up. Read up, educate yourselves. We could very quickly look here is to see when the next Kusama parachain auction is, and what projects will be there. Auctions, Kusama parachain auctions.
You know what I've noticed, Bilo? That the current Bitcoin price action is creating a cup and handle on quite a few altcoins.
Yeah,
so
nice.
even Ocean, which is currently at 84 cents, at its peak was $1.93. That's formed a cup and handle, and we're currently in the handle, and it looks lovely. And I mean, the target of that is probably huge.
So I hope that happens, because I own some. So the next parachain auction is September 1st to September 8th, guys. Okay. And let me see if I can find you which projects will be there.
Sherpa X is one of them, isn't it?
Yeah. Sherpa X is one of them. Kilt, I believe, is one of them.
Yeah,
why doesn't it show it here? Maybe here.
So the target of the cup and handle for Ocean
Hmm?
is about $1.97.
Nice.
Yeah.
From your mouth to God's ears.
And we're currently at 84 cents, so that's nice. That is nice. And again, it's one of those coins that you could consider to be a blue chip. It's not going anywhere other than up over time.
I can't find the list, but guys, if you just Google it, you'll find it. It's September 1st. I urge you not to miss it because it's easy way to make money, guys.
You sound like my doctor, my GP. He's like, right.
You can't find it?
I went to the doctor's once and I said, right, I've got this problem, and I literally watched him Google my problem.
Oh boy.
And I'm just thinking, right, well, I could have just done that myself at home. And he actually printed out this Google answer for me.
I can't find it. Sorry.
Faith is yet to be restored.
You saying you lost faith in me?
No, in the doctor.
No. Does anybody know, guys? Help me out. Anybody know where I can find the list of projects that are going to be on the next auction? DJ, do you?
I don't. I just knew Sherpa X and stuff from memory because I'm gonna go in for that one.
Yeah. That's weird. Wouldn't think it would be that hard to find out. Anyway, if anybody's interested, DM me and I'll share it with you. I have it somewhere. I just gotta find it.
Oh yeah, trying to get people in your DMs again, are you?
You bad boy.
Naughty man.
Yeah. So guys, I'm just gonna repeat. I am not bearish. I am not presently concerned that we're gonna dump. If we do, there's a lot of support, starting with the 200 moving average, and then all these EMAs and just a whole bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, I'm not bearish.
I'm neither bearish nor bullish for the moment. Just to contradict you slightly, I am bullish in the background, but I'm not going full bull and saying we're going to absolutely fly, because until we break that 705, I'm apprehensive.
Okay.
Sorry, Bilo.
I just found the auctions, if you're interested.
Yeah, please, if you don't mind, share them.
Pasted it in the chat.
Parachains.info, wasn't it?
Parachains.info/auctions. So it's Killed, Calamari, Polka Smith. There's a couple of those coming up.
Okay, beautiful. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. So here you go, guys. This is it. These are all the ones that are coming up, and you could see that Kilt is leading the pack in terms of funds raised. Although I had heard that Kilt initially was going to be totally self-funding, but I guess they're raising funds. And you could see here what the rewards are. So each KSM, you get 25 plus, minimum 25 kilts in return.
And how long is that being locked up for? Is that the same 48 weeks?
It's 48 weeks. Yeah. It's 48 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, 48 weeks. It's right here. Leasing period is 48 weeks.
For the kilt, it's 24 weeks.
Is it? Where does it say that?
No, you can probably click on auction details. On the left. There, underneath where it says Kilt Protocol.
No, it's 48 on this one, but there are some with only 24.
Okay, I wasn't aware. I thought they're all 48 weeks, but okay. Kilt will be obviously a good one to put your money behind.
So how much
Sherpa
is
X,
Kilt's worth?
We don't know. That's the thing, is we don't know.
Okay.
That's where you don't really know what your return on investment is going to be, because you don't know the value of the project because the project's not out yet. So you have to base it purely based on like how much hype is there around the project. Like Moonbeam, for example, it's a project that everybody was trying to get an allocation, and it was close to impossible. Very few people managed to get allocations in Moonbeam. We tried. So it's not surprising that it's doing well.
Same with Kilt, actually, wasn't it?
That's right. That's why Kilt would be a smart one.
I could have got in on Kilt, but the person who I could have got in on it with, I didn't really want to have anything to do with, so I didn't.
I think I know who you're referring to.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, guys. So that's it.
Deserves to be outed, but I won't. I said deserves to be outed, but I won't.
Yeah. All right. I don't have anything else to add. If anybody else does, please go ahead.
Bilo, you could also consider that Bitcoin is also currently a rounded bottom or the start of the handle.
Now you have DJ's attention.
I'll share it in the group rather than sharing it here. But yeah, or you can just have a look now. But yeah, there's definitely a cup and handle potentially forming there, and at minimum,
this would be a nice bounce right here.
Yeah.
This is the 200 moving average, by the way, simple moving average,
which we've respected so far, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our bouncing point the other day, which is a very positive sign. So there are a lot of things that are suggesting that we are that we're bullish, but there are also things that are suggesting just be cautious for the time being and don't go all in like people suggest at times.
That was very helpful. Thanks.
Sorry, dude.
There's some good things, but there's also some bad ones.
Yeah. I'm a little bit crypto schizophrenic right now. I can hear voices that are saying, do it, and other voices that are saying, no, don't do it.
Guys, as we're new at this, doing live streaming, we've been doing it for like a couple of months now, but we are new at this. We would really appreciate your comments, and you're not going to hurt our feelings. We know that we have a lot to do to improve. We'd like to make these live sessions more fun, more engaging, more educational. And we know sometimes we could be better prepared because we kind of jump from one topic to the other. Your comments would really be appreciated. You can, DM them to Pumpeye or myself in Crypto Society. You could leave them here in the chat, whatever you like. Your comments are more than welcome, and actually would appreciate receiving your comments.
It would be better as a DM. It would be better as a DM because the comments on the Zoom meeting that we're currently in, they disappear once we close the meeting. So
okay. So DM us your comments, guys. We will not be offended. We are really trying to make this more fun, more educational. Our aim is to educate and to help. So please help us back by giving us your comments and suggestions.
And make sure that you DM Bilo first, because Bilo should actually have after his name, cannot DM you first.
Yeah. I don't like that. I want to DM.
Sorry, mate.
And if it's a complaint, please address it to Pumpeye. If it's great, address it to me.
Any bearishness, please pass it on to Pumpeye. If you're bullish, please pass it on to Bilo. Yeah. It's quite funny,
and
actually, because Bilo used to be a bear, and I've converted him into a bull, and I messaged. In fact, I can't remember whether it was a message or whether it was a telephone call, but I spoke to you the other day, didn't I? And I said, "You've turned into a bull, and unfortunately, I've come to realise that I am now a bear." So we've just switched places.
Yeah, we've had animal change operations.
I am easily long-term bullish, but if you look at it in the right way, then a bear, the reason why it's called a bear isn't actually because they're negative. It's because a bear forages and collects in times of plentiful, and then it lets that be the supply when there isn't. and you kind of look at that in the same way of that you would collect in the time of the bear market. I know that's obviously not where it's plentiful, but it's where things are cheaper. You collect in the bear market to let it bring it to fruition once it hits the bull market. So it's kind of
There's another thought in that a bear, when it fights, it strikes downwards with its paw.
Yep.
And a bull strikes upwards with its horns.
That's very true. Yeah.
That's the reason, buddy.
Okay. Sorry, buddy.
Pump.
Sorry.
So that's about it, guys. Pumpeye, you could do the thing.
The thing, right? Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. If you could join us again next week, we'll be live again next Sunday at 4 p.m. CET. Make sure you put it in your diary. Invite other people to come and join us. We will from now on have it as an open Zoom meeting where you can chat to us rather than just going to YouTube. But we do also appreciate questions being asked on YouTube, and for more viewers, obviously. If you could help us by, even if you're joining us on the Zoom meeting, if you could help us by liking the stream on YouTube and sharing it to your friends so that other people can see the educational content that we provide, that would be amazing. And as Bilo said, if you can drop us any messages with stuff that you'd like to know about that you haven't heard us provide so far, that would be great. And on that note,
And generally, in general comments, I mean, just where you think we can improve, where you think we could make it more fun, where we're going wrong. We would like to hear back. So don't be shy.
5 espressos for you next week, Bilo.
Okay.
Right, guys. Thank you very much.
All right.
We look forward to seeing you
guys.
next week. Cheers. Have a
Bye-bye.
good week. Good trading. Bye bye.
Cheers.